Hello, my wanderers in an unknown puzzlescape. I'm King Link, and today we're going to be taking a last look and review of The Witness. Before we begin, if you enjoy this, please consider subscribing. I'm working my way up to 100 subscribers and can use your help. It's as easy as clicking the subscribe button. I don't have ads, I don't do monetization, I don't even take paid promotion. I only look for a simple subscription as a thank you for my work. Thank you for considering it, and I appreciate it if you go ahead. In addition, two things about this video quickly. First, I'm purposefully avoiding spoilers. I'm going to be showing the opening area of the game for a couple things, but there's a lot of puzzles in this game, and I won't show anything outside of the two early concepts in this game. In addition, I find that there's a hitch in this video a few times. I'm sorry about that. Something went wrong between recording, playing, and setting on my video card. I believe it's fixable, but I wasn't able to get it corrected before the recording. The game should run correctly if you do change the setting, and it's something about the adaptive VSync on NVIDIA cards. Honestly, it didn't bother me much when I was playing, so I never really messed with it or felt like I had to change it. So, with that said, The Witness is a game I played at the launch in January 2016 on PlayStation 4. But a couple reviews ago, I was playing Abduction, Obduction, and as I played it, I kept thinking about The Witness, wondering if it was as good as I remembered. You see, I enjoyed Abduction, and the walking parts of that game, the exploration was excellent, but I wanted a few more puzzles, or a lot more puzzles. I had received a copy of The Witness in a Humble Bundle, and I decided, you know what, it was time for me to tackle it a second time. Let's see if I can go back and if it's still as good as I remembered. So the thing is, The Witness is a strange game. You wake up in a tunnel, you walk out of it, you solve two simple puzzles on the way, and you can see it in my first look how it goes. From there, you're going to explore an island with a huge number of puzzles littered around it. Now, the gameplay here that I'm showing off is just wandering around the island and exploring all the various parts of the island after the first look video. I solve a couple of puzzles. I think I do them the same in the first look, but just as an example of how the game plays, and that's about it. The fact is, the game is all about that understanding of the puzzles. There's odd foreign concepts in the puzzles, and the way it presents them as well as how it teaches those concepts are interesting enough that I don't want to spoil them here. However, as you watch me walk around, check out the graphics. Now, I'm not a huge fan of them here, and there's almost a style to them, but you know, I understand a piece of what the developers are doing with them, but at the same time, I feel that they could be a lot better than they appear to be in this game. Well, there's beautiful vistas and wonderful views. When you get close to the individual pieces, they feel a little bit flat. You know, just a touch. I believe there's a reason for it, but at the same time, I still have to say, the graphics aren't top-notch here, and weren't at the time that this game came out. At the same time, the story in the game is also a bit nebulous. There's different theories, of course, and a few that talk about, you know, a specific cutscene or whatever you can find, but ultimately the idea of The Witness isn't to see a complete narrative, or really any narrative necessarily, and instead focus on the puzzles that the game tasks the player to solve. There's a few audio recordings, but I think they're more introspective or just talking about the location you're in rather than talking about the one overarching narrative. So ultimately, we're left with the gameplay, and what that is in The Witness is the puzzles. That's all that's really in this game. Every puzzle in The Witness revolves around these two-dimensional puzzles that you'll see me looking at the beginning of this video and a few other times throughout this video. There's a number of different styles and rules to each of the puzzles, but the idea is to simply solve each puzzle as best you can, move on to the next puzzle in the series. There are a few twists to this, of course, and we'll talk about some of them. The first one that's big to me is that there's no text in this game. You solve puzzles and try to understand the rules as you play with the different concepts. In fact, The Witness excels at wordlessly teaching you, the player, concepts, and I have to be honest, that I'm quite impressed at how much The Witness succeeds without resorting to hints or even a written description of the puzzle. In addition, there's a lot of exploration as part of the game. There's different puzzle styles, and they're all grouped into almost levels or areas of the game. However, there's not a specific progression that is required by the gameplay. While some concepts are necessary while solving other areas, most areas stand on their own. There are a few areas that borrow one or two concepts from other areas, and it's surprisingly efficient when it does so. Though, on the other hand, there's areas like I believe I should be showing the town right now, where I'm walking through, and the problem there is it's very interesting, but you pretty much have to understand every concept in the game to beat all of the town puzzles. And in addition, this is very close to the beginning of the game, so it can frustrate new players. There's also one or two concepts that are one concept that's hidden away, and honestly, it's a little hard to reach without a hint or two. But for the most part, if something seems strange in this game, it usually means you'll have to keep searching somewhere else to find out something that will explain the rules of what you're missing out on. There's actually another concept in this game that I'm not a fan of, and I'm calling them concepts, but it's just styles of puzzles, but so on. And it seems like that area, that the concept, the style that I'm talking about, has quite a few fans that just don't have the best time with it. I don't want to go into what it is for spoiler reasons, but I'm a bit torn on that part of this game. It's easy to push through, there's actually not that many puzzles, and while I personally disliked it, it's so short that I think the developers understood that it wasn't one of their favorite concepts. It's interesting and it's unique, but I know for me, I'm glad that I got through as fast as I did. Now, one nice feature about The Witness is that it doesn't require the players to solve every puzzle. So while a puzzle might completely confound someone or you might dislike it, almost no puzzle is required to beat the game. The player can earn the first achievement in the game, which is for beating the game, with less than half the puzzle solved. The second achievement, well, I don't want to give it away, but it does require a bit more, and honestly, it does something that's a bit divisive on this game. It's one of the only areas of the game that makes the witness feels like it's running off the tracks or was trying to find one last hard challenge, and it ended up with something that is unlike the rest of the game, and for that, I get why people are unhappy with it. I know I'm not going back and doing it a second time, but I did beat it on the PlayStation 4, and I'm thrilled that I did. And ultimately, that's The Witness. But there's one other thing to consider here. I originally played this game 2 years ago. I think I figured it out as 33 months ago, or 32 months ago. So when I picked it up again, I was hoping that enough time had passed that I could re-explore the island a second time and have it as a fresh experience. Well, I might have a great memory, but I don't think I have an exceptional one. The fact is, my second playthrough was marred by the fact that I remembered too many of the rules and puzzles, that the spark of inspiration that the game gives players when they understand something new is lacking for me in this playthrough. I feel like The Witness is almost a story game. You can play through This Is the Police or any Telltale game or anything with an unbranching story once and enjoy it for that story. But on the second time, because it's the exact same story, it's hard to experience it from a fresh perspective. The Witness has the same problem. I think The Witness was intended to be played through once, and going into it fresh is critical. That's why I'm avoiding as many spoilers as I can for this game to give you that initial experience. You know, the thing is, I like The Witness a lot. As a puzzle game, there's not many games like it, and there's not as much inventiveness in most puzzle games. There's extremely good puzzle games like Portal and similar, but The Witness avoids requiring any game skill while it presents a brilliant puzzle game, and for that I think it's an easy recommendation for anyone who enjoys puzzle games. But I also think that The Witness is worth playing for most gamers, just because it's a great game on its own. The puzzles are effective, the teaching of concepts is interesting, and the environment is enjoyable to look at even if it doesn't have the best graphics. I have to give The Witness a 4.5 out of 5. That's a very good score for me, and the fact is, if you're at least intrigued by this video and my description, you should check The Witness out. Though I will say, if you're not a heavy puzzle game fan, I recommend checking it out when it's on a Steam sale or something similar, which comes quite often for this title. Still, I have a great time playing this, even on the second playthrough, and I really adore the style and gameplay contained within. So, that's The Witness. Now, a bit of news for fans of the site, consider subscribing. I have finished Dragon Warrior 11, thank God, or Dragon Quest 11, and it's going to be my next review. I have a lot of things that I want to say about the game, so be prepared for a bumpy ride. Until then, I am King Link. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.